If you don't have imposter syndrome, that's a sign for you to like do some work. It's a natural proclivity to care about what I'm sharing and connecting with you, to have humility around honoring you as a person and sharing with you. We are all trained by society, family, friends, all of our experiences to show up a certain way. So anytime we're not in a new situation or we're doing something new, all of those like fears of, am I good enough? Am I showing up well enough? Will my so-and-so love me? Are going to come to the front.
You know, when you have that big meeting or presentation and you start talking, but your voice cracks, or it gets squeaky, or your hands get really sweaty, or you're fidgeting around, you don't feel confident. Well, today I'm talking with Salvatore Manzi. He is a communication coach who has spent 20 years helping people overcome their number one human fear, and that is public speaking. And in this podcast, he's giving us all of his expert tips, including the simple 3-word phrase that stops your brain from shutting down when all the eyes are on you, plus this weird backstage technique that will actually help release nervous energy immediately. If you're like me and you ever felt like your body betrayed you in a high stakes moment, or if you want to let fear stop holding back your career and you want to be an effective communicator, speaking from your confidence and power, this show, I promise, is for you. Enjoy. All right, Salvatore, welcome to the show. Man, I am excited to have our conversation. This is going to be a unique one too, because you're bringing some information that is so important and relevant, but we have never talked about on Heal Thyself. Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
I have some rapid fire questions for you.
Let's do it.
Okay. What is one simple technique that someone can use before a presentation that can really help calm their nerves?
Box breathing. Physiology is a driver of so much. And if I can release some of the pressure and regulate the system through box breathing, it calms the mind, it calms the body, lowers the nervous.
How long do we box breathe before we get on stage to actually feel a change?
You need three rounds.
3 rounds.
But the actual count is totally irrelevant. I've seen 4 or 6 or just a cascade, whatever. But the fact that you're counting and engaging the mind, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. The fact that you're engaging the mind and the body in the process creates that self-regulation.
Amazing. I wish someone told me that years ago.
Right?
Right? All right. Better at presentations, extroverts or introverts?
I can't really grade it that way. Like each have strengths and opportunities in there. I think the challenge would be if the extrovert were simply to rely on their extroverted charm, charisma, whatever. An introvert is going to put more thought, preparation, rehearsal into their presentation. So there might be a more concision. The extrovert might put more side quests into the presentation, which might please certain people, but I think there's strengths to both of them.
Okay.
Don't cancel me, folks.
Okay. For the people out there who are deathly afraid of getting on stage, is there a word of advice for them that they can hear right now that can really calm or change their perspective completely?
2 things. 1, it's perfectly natural. So it's okay. Like just know that it's normal to have that adrenaline, that rush. But secondly, reframe that rush. And what I mean by that is your body is reacting to adrenaline flush and all that energy, and we can interpret that in 2 ways. We can see it as fear or we can see it as excitement. If you're on a roller coaster, you can be laughing in exhilaration or screaming in terror, but your body is doing the same thing. So if you train your brain to reframe that rush as excitement, it will recalibrate your body around that and help you get out there. But I want to say one other thing. There's immersion and there's exposure therapy. You're probably familiar. Like if you are deathly afraid of public speaking in front of people, choose your path. Some people need to just throw themselves in the deep end and learn. That's how I did it. Some of the people need to do it slowly. Like just speak up in a few meetings, have a few conversations, volunteer to make that presentation, whatever it is, until you get easier into it.
Amazing. We are ready to go into this. I can't wait. I can't wait to teach the audience about really, really open the space so you can bring your knowledge, because man, I remember when I was in college, I like public speaking now. When I was in college, I'm going to tell you a little secret here.
Yeah.
You know what I would do? I would bring a little Snapple bottle and put vodka in it.
Ah,
And I would get buzzed
oh dear.
while everyone else was doing their presentation
Oh,
because I was so nervous to get on stage. And so it needed to calm my nerves. I probably smelled like alcohol in the middle of the workday. They probably thought I was an alcoholic, but it was the only thing that was helping.
did it work? It worked.
It worked because it calmed my nerves. Then I started going into like herbals that can calm my nerves.
Yeah.
And then I just was like, forget it. I got to do this. And then I had to get over it at some point and really work with that, which we're going to get into now. But I'm really excited because you have been a leadership and communications coach for over 20 years. Am I right? Over 20 years?
Yeah.
Okay. And you've really helped tons and tons of leaders impact their work, being on stage and making a change. Is it true, first of all, that most people, that it's the number one fear for most people, getting on stage, public speaking?
100%.
Yeah.
It's a natural physiological response to 100 hungry eyes staring at you. You're going to feel fear.
Oh.
Like it's just natural. So it is. And there's also, it pushes up against all of our, am I worthy? Can I be seen? Am I safe here? It triggers so many aspects along that path. Yeah, it's definitely the number one fear. And I think the only people that don't get the fear of public speaking are psychopaths. So if you have the fear, that's a good sign.
I remember someone said, hey, you just got to picture everyone naked. Does that work?
I mean, if that works for you, great. No,
Yeah.
it's going to take my mind into a very different place. I don't think I want to
How are you going to stay focused?
Yeah, right. Like, okay, wait a minute. What? Why is that?
Exactly. Okay. So back to you. Look, you were raised in Kansas.
I was raised in Kansas.
Okay. 17 cities across 8 countries. You moved 75 plus times.
Oh, way more than that by now. Yeah.
So you've been a nomad forever.
I have.
Okay. Before we even get into this, just pique my interest. Where was your favorite place you lived?
I'd have to have a category. For nature, it'd be New Zealand. South Island of New Zealand, you've been there.
No, it's a dream.
You've seen Lord of the Rings. So
Yes.
Yes. Like, it is just epic. Every day, waking up and seeing any part of the South Island is just amazing. But Milford Sound, like, plan a week on a boat. Just stay there. Offline. It's amazing.
Milford Sound.
Food, you got to go to Italy. I mean, I'm sorry. No dissing anybody here in LA who has amazing good food, but like Italy has figured it out. Like there's love from the ground to the food, to the kitchen, to the table. It's just, and it's a lengthy thing all the way. For just wild fun, I would say Amsterdam. Like, it's just a smash of people, diversity, cultures, history, activities. And then my new favorite at the moment is Granada, Spain, which has the Alhambra there. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It was, it's this preserved palace that's like 1,400 years old. It's mind blowing. And the whole town is just, I could live there.
I'm going to be in Spain for 2 months next year. Just to live there for a little bit.
Where?
I don't know. Maybe you can tell me after.
It does get hot in the south.
It does get hot in the south.
Seville is one of my favorites.
That's one of the places we're talking about.
So hot. Is there a Don Quixote thing in your life? No, okay, because that's
No, but we want to go. Yeah, so I don't know, but like beautiful. I love we started with that because who the heck doesn't want to know? I mean, you've been to so many places.
Yeah.
Okay, but now you've been so many places. Do you think that played into your career now?
Yeah.
What parts of these cultural learnings have you infused into your teachings for people now?
I appreciate this question. It causes me to think about it in a different way. I would offer that my exposure to so many different cultures has forced me to find new ways of communicating and new ways of communicating again and again. And whether we want to say it or not, we all make a living with our voice, whether it's written or auditory. We make a living with our voice. It's how we connect, communicate, and we as beings want to be connected with each other. So learning strategies to better communicate is to the benefit of anybody who wants to succeed in life. And so being exposed to so many different cultures and seeing how different contexts and how people show up in different contexts has helped open my mind and help me formulate the strategies that I use and share with my clients.
Communication, relationships, work, business, friendships, everything. What is the biggest block in communication that you're finding with people? What is holding them back? Is it I don't want to be vulnerable? Is it that I'm not good enough to speak my truth? Like, what are people really struggling with from an insecurity level?
Gosh, I love this. Can we spend the rest of the time talking about this?
Yeah.
It is somewhat niched, and I would offer, and what I'm hearing the question is what is it that prevents the average person from showing up and just sharing? My work, I focus very highly on STEM professionals, analytical, data-driven tech leaders. And what I find most common in that arena is an overload of data they're trying to compress and then make relevant to the next person. So there's this overwhelming perseveration that happens in an attempt to provide not too much, but just the right amount of context, give you the data, but not complete download, and then make sure that it's actually sticking and resonating with you. I think that's the biggest problem. It's like, how do I know that I've been heard and understood? And I mean, in America, I would offer there's also a fear of saying the wrong thing. Like it's so easy for one statement to be taken against a person for their career. And so there's a high risk level for high level leaders to get their words right and be cognizant about so many other little tripwires as they're trying to communicate something very important, perhaps in a crisis situation or perhaps in a motivational way. Where I see people slip up a lot is making a joke that they might feel as a joke, but it doesn't get taken as a joke by certain people. And it starts to restrict the person, and they start to feel like, oh, I don't know how to communicate. And then next thing you know, they're that person in the room that's like, oh, I wish I'd said that in that meeting, right?
Are people who are having trouble communicating at work, does that usually translate to their home life too?
Everybody I can't speak universally on this. I like the question that I would offer that everybody has a challenge area, and that what you're doing in one place is going to be reflected in others. One of my communication strategies is how to answer Q&A. You know, at the end of a great presentation, you want to take those questions, and there's pushback, right? And so I teach a framework for how to answer that question and build rapport. How do you turn that person who's skeptical into a believer without denying what they said, building off of creating rapport? And after we've done this session a couple of times, my clients always come back and go, wow, my relationship at home is really good now. Thank you for that. Because it changes the way they're relating to their partners and the way they're listening to their partners, which is big.
All right. So your dad was a speaker, and he came home super excited, right?
All the time, yeah.
And was that the seed influence for you to say, what's that all about? And I want to go into this public speaking thing?
Yeah, I don't remember exact age, but I remember him coming home from speaking engagements being lit up. And I was so enthralled. I'm like, what is it that's causing this? I want to do it too. And so I followed in his footsteps. When I got to college, I got up on a stage, and then my voice quickly started going up higher and higher until I completely lost my voice. I was up there. And I was like, wow, my body betrayed me. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Like, my body betrayed. I wasn't as embarrassed as I was curious. Like, what happened that caused my body to shut down? And so I just threw myself into, I'm going to overcome this. I want to figure out what's driving my body's reaction. What is the fear? And I found that most public speaking training, most communication training is geared towards the extrovert, how to polish, how to refine, how to use your natural charisma, your storytelling or whatever. Not so much for the introvert or the analytical mind. So I took a deep dive into cognitive psychology and neuroscience and created frameworks, techniques, and strategies to help people with a more analytical mind manage those moments, show up, and turn complexity into clarity.
Because it seems like the natural public speakers are always introverts. Can we say that? Like, because I've seen people get up there and I'm like, damn.
I don't think Tony Robbins is an introvert, but he's a really good speaker.
But an extrovert. He's an extrovert.
He's an extrovert.
He's an extrovert. Yeah. So that's what I was meaning to say is, is it true that all the natural on-stage speakers are usually just extroverts?
I think a lot of the big names might be, but a lot of them are introverts. I don't know. I would say Brene Brown probably is introverted. Barack Obama is introverted. A lot of the speakers that we think of as like, oh, that's a standard setter, are introverts, because introverts do tend to not wing it. They put some thought into it. They're using a framework or a strategy and they've rehearsed it. Extroverts are like, what's the topic? All right, I'm on. Right?
That's right. Okay, so is that that's the biggest difference, that the extroverts can run with the topic, kind of wing it on stage, and it works. Introverts need a framework.
It works to a point, right? Let's just say.
Can I just say something? I'm an extrovert.
Awesome.
And I went on stage and I'm like, oh, fuck it, I'm gonna wing it. I know this stuff.
Okay.
And then I found myself talking in circles. I'm like, shit. And then I remember I'm like, I need to prepare better for these things. So it doesn't, you're right. It doesn't always, you can't just wing it fully.
No.
You need bullets and not a framework. Everyone just depends on how much of a framework.
Yeah. And so many of my clients, unfortunately, have time restraints, right? I helped a client get ready for a presentation in front of the United Nations. They don't let you just go on. There's no Oscar music to sing you off, but you've got to get it in your segment. So if you want to make sure that your point is made, you need to make sure that you know your point. You have your soundbite, you know where you're ending and all of those.
All right. So we have people viewing and listening and they go, okay, I have to present at work and I hate presenting at work. Let's talk about some actionable tips for the people who are needing to go on stage as part of their job and are like, I have a lot of trouble and I'm still not getting better. I'm reading books. What's the number one thing that we're starting to face right now, these people?
What they're facing?
Yeah, what are they really facing? Is it the anxiety? Is it the judgment? Is it all psychological? Let's talk about something that is crucial for our health, but often overlooked. It is hydration. And I'm not talking about just drinking water. I'm talking about getting electrolytes. Sometimes water doesn't even hydrate you, right? You need electrolytes. I love LMNT, and I especially love their brand new LMNT sparkling drink that I keep in my fridge. I use it after every sauna session. And what really sets LMNT apart is their science-based formula. They actually provide 2 to 3 times more sodium than the typical recommendation, plus the perfect balance of potassium and magnesium. And they do it without any sugar, any artificial ingredients, none of that nasty stuff, right? And they have their 16-ounce sparkling cans. And this is the on-the-go hydration. They have different flavors. You put it in the fridge, and when you need something cold to really hit, wow, I'm telling you right now, you're going to love it. Whether you're an athlete or just on a low-carb diet or you want to avoid headaches, brain fog coming from electrolyte imbalance, LMNT is simple, it's easy to use, it's tasty. You get a free sample pack with any purchase at drinklmnt.com/DRG. That is DRINKLMNT.com/DRG. Let me talk to you something that has been a total game changer in my home, and it's probably not what you think. It is an air purifier, because what we breathe in matters as much as what we eat or drink. And air quality in our homes can be filled from everything from mold spores to pollen to smoke to allergies. And air purifiers are so important. Most of them are going to be in plastic boxes, make a lot of noise. And then I discovered the JASPR. The JASPR was brought to me by my sales team, and they said, this is a fantastic air purifier. And I looked into it, and it was true. I loved it so much that I got the founder on. And what immediately caught my attention is the design. It's so many of the air purifiers are clunky, antiquated looking, 90s looking, and this is sleek, quiet, and powerful. But here's what really got me. It's built with steel, not plastic. So we're talking about machines that are actually built to last. So JASPR handles everything from smoke to mold to pollen, all the allergens that make you feel terrible without you even realizing why. Whether you're dealing with seasonal allergies, live in an area that is susceptible to wildfires or smoke, or just want the cleanest air possible in your home, get this. I am confident that you will love it. It has a lifetime warranty. Yes, lifetime. That tells you everything you need to know about the quality and engineering that goes into these units. Since I've been using my JASPR for about a year now, I have 2 running. One's on the first floor, one's on the second floor. Ooh, I have 3 actually. 1 first floor, 2nd, 3rd floor. And I've noticed cleaner air, better overall sleep, and just an overall sense that my home environment is clean. The air is nice. We tested it. We have people come in and test the air and they say the air is super clean. Thank you, JASPR. Go to jasper.co/DRG and use the code DRG for $200 off for a limited time. That is JASPR.co/DRG. The code is DRG.
I love you. You answered the question. Yeah. I have a phrase, not about me.
Yeah.
It's not about me. That is the number one thing that triggers us to shut down our access to our prefrontal cortex and all the content that we had prepared. We start to inward focus. We start to worry about, is my hair okay? Is my content, did I say that the right way? Did she, what was that look she gave me? Like, and then we start to, and I have no idea what I was going to talk about today, because now my amygdala has shut down and I have no access to any of my content. So I recommend just saying, not about me, 10 times before you go into that meeting. Not about me. Not about me, 10 times before you have that difficult conversation. Not about me, at least 3 times before you respond to that difficult question. Like their animosity, anger, their hesitancy, their skepticism is not about you. It's about the topic. And your job is not to defend yourself, protect yourself, make sure you look good. Your job is to make sure the message and the audience are connecting. And if I can keep reminding myself, it's not about me, I can be of service, be generous, and also stay a little curious.
Do you think that people who've grown up with childhood trauma...
It's a heavy yes.
It's a heavy yes.
This is such a leading question. I'm just going to say yes.
It's a yes. So they have a lot more difficulty speaking on stage.
I don't know if a lot more, but everybody has something. You know, there's no such thing as harder. There's just hard. We all have had some experience in our life that makes what we want to accomplish hard for us. And everybody's fighting their own, climbing their own mountain. Boy, I was mixing a lot of metaphors in my head. Yeah. I want to say dragon, but I got to stop slaying dragons. Like, they're not the bad guys, right? I think they're good people. Anyway, off topic. Everybody's dealing with their own like challenges, their own beliefs. I break down communication into 3 categories. First is the content itself. How are you organizing your content so that it's memorable, so that it's easy to process? Next is delivery. How are you communicating using the multi-channel being that you are with your eyes, your hands, your gestures, your tone of voice? How are you communicating that's congruent with your content? And here, these are practices. This is where we play. And as we're doing this, the 3rd category, presence. These are the set of beliefs and experiences from your life that make up how you show up in any given situation. What is your belief about that person, about that topic, about this project, about this company? What is your belief about the way you fit in, the way you belong or don't belong? And what's informed that? Because that is underneath these 2. And what happens when we play with these 2 areas, we'll start to see this and I'll be like, oh, what is that? Or I'll have a person do the same presentation with a different voice or to a different audience, and notice what changes. And as we surface, okay, what was that originating story? What is the belief that's preventing you from feeling fully resourceful and agile in the moment? How can we reframe it? Is it true? Is it 100% true? What else is true? How else can we reframe that so that you can show up differently next time? That's one of probably a dozen ways of working in this bucket, which is the core to self-transformation in communication.
The belief systems. Okay, so you work with a lot of people. Can you ground this with an example, a story, something where you remember, okay, this was a belief that he or she showed up with and really was sabotaging their talks, but we started reframing it. Where was it coming from? I love the psychological piece to this.
Yeah, there is, and I don't want to stick strictly to gender, but I worked with a female executive who was the only female executive in the leadership suite. And she had beliefs that they wouldn't listen to her, that she wasn't being taken at face value, and there's truth. There is systemic issues at play in these things. But when we pivoted and started looking at what is it that she's bringing to the table that the others can't, how is her voice unique? How is her voice more clarifying or different than the rest of them? And as she focused on these, it was enough of a counterbalance that she was able to be like, yeah, you guys have some issues to work out, but I have a voice that is worth hearing, that has value, and I'm going to share it, whether you all are listening or just the ones that need to hear it now.
That reframe in itself, was she able to go back and say, you know what, that's way beyond my work, it started earlier on? Did she connect that to something deeper?
Oh yeah, I mean, she's been told through her life what her place is, how, like, I mean, all of us have, not all of us, but many of us have some sort of societal and informed belief about where how we're supposed to behave on this spectrum. I put the spectrum anywhere from the sovereign to the kindergarten teacher, right? You've got the sovereign that sits in full agency, full authority. And I can sit here and I can communicate with you with the conviction and authority of the military commander about to send you out, whatever, right? And I can also swing to the kindergarten teacher and be like, you know, it's okay. You're welcome here. All of you is welcome here. Yeah, well, how is that going? And I can affect behaviors along that continuum that I believe are appropriate for that context. Here's the problem. Most of us have been trained by society, culture, family, experiences, whatever, to behave a certain way in certain contexts. And those aren't necessarily appropriate. So simply having a person stretch or lean into a side of the continuum that maybe they don't lean into in that context allows them to start feeling themselves differently. What would it feel like for you to take up more space? What does that signal to them? What does that signal to you as you take up more space? What happens if you speak a little louder? What does that do for you? What does that do for them? Or to the person who's always dominating or taking up too much space, what happens if you make yourself a little smaller? What happens if you tilt your head and look up at the person? Like, how does that change your interaction? And helping people see where the behaviors are, what are their instinctual behaviors in those, what are they tied to, and then let's talk about what they're tied to and how that may not be serving you anymore.
So that's you look at that spectrum with each person and see where they fall. Men, generally speaking, where do they fall?
Men, generally speaking. Into bed like the rest of us. I'm sorry. There's honestly,
is it a mix?
There's no
you don't see commonalities?
I don't think there is a hard fast. I bet there's research out there that's going to tell you that this or that. But my experience, I've worked with enough, perhaps because my focus is more on tech leaders, data-driven people, it is across the spectrum. The behaviors show up gender-wise. Yeah.
I can imagine the person who speaks more like the kindergarten teacher and that's sort of their natural disposition
is
the person who steps into like that, taking up space and projecting their voice. There's got to be a nervous system somatic experience too that is like, shit, like, what's happening? I can't believe I feel so powerful.
Well, it's that, and is it safe to feel this much power?
Right.
Am I comfortable? And I'll have
Is this too much for the people around me?
You're talking somatic, so I will go into something like, where's the energy in your body? Like, where is it? Oh, it's right there. Put your hand there, right? Now, tell me, what is that feeling? What is that connected to? What do you tie that to? Keep that as a reminder of what it feels like to have that power right now, so that when you get into that high stakes meeting, all you have to do is just tap that spot one time, remind yourself somatically, I have the power. I can take up space. My voice does have quality.
I believe, at least my experience, one of the most common things is that, like you said, turning off the prefrontal cortex, and you're on stage, you're like, what the hell am I going to say?
I have no idea what I was going to say.
Your hands are sweaty. But let's talk about the voice, the throat. Is that a common thing where people start losing their voice on stage and they started like sort of tripping on their words and this closes up? Do you usually see that?
There is a physiological response that it manifests differently in different people. Some people will develop a tic. Well, they'll just...
Oh, I've seen that on stage.
Or they'll develop the pacing.
I've seen that on stage.
Or the rocking, or if they're on virtual, you just see them like tick-tocking or swiveling in their chair. Like it manifests in different ways. I always tell people that there's a lot of energy surging when you go to speak, and you've got to find a way to release it. So what are you doing physiologically to let that go out? Box breathing is number one. It's the easiest way. Secondly, like just clenching the fist or clenching the feet, or imagining like grounding the feet a couple of times, tightening the whole body, releasing it. Jane Goodall studied chimpanzees, and one of the things that she studied is that when there is some large stimulus to the group, they would all raise their shoulders and then their elbows and then throw down. There was this sort of, and they've done the studies physiologically, that is a full release of pent-up energy in the body. So for me, if I'm going on a stage in front of thousands of people, I'm backstage doing this sort of monkey-like behavior to release the energy. Another person, totally different. They might just be standing there and meditating or grounding themselves or whoever. Each person is going to find their own regulation tool in that situation, but you've got to find a way to regulate the physiology. Secondly, you've got to find a way to regulate the mind, because the mind is a problem-solving and a fear-seeking device. Like, am I in danger? That's all it's doing. So if I don't get out ahead of that and stop the looping and stop the searching, then it's going to take me down. I don't know. I think we were talking earlier about like the negative beliefs, and there's a book called Taming Your Gremlins. You've read it?
No, it's such a cool name, though.
Such a cool name. It's such a simple book. It's fantastic. You find the negative belief that's driving the bus, and you give it a name. Mine is Perry the Perfectionist.
Okay.
Because I had a belief that unless I was perfect, no one would love me. And so when I get up to speak in front of people, I am so self-conscious about, am I perfect? And so I had to learn to talk to Perry and be like, Perry, you got to wait over there until I'm done, and then I'll talk to you. And here's the catch. You can't just put Perry in a box, because he's going to get louder. You got to create a relationship with that gremlin so that you honor it for the strengths and the protection that it has provided you in life.
Right.
You see the values of it and you recognize it, not discount it, but you also learn to tame it. You get to sit over there while I do the presentation, and afterwards we'll talk. You tell me what worked. All right, that was good. That's valid. No, I'm not gonna. No, I don't think that might be. No, okay, that was valid. We have a conversation. Perry and I go way back now. We're good friends. He's in the hallway right now, and he's like, "Are you talking about me again?" Yeah. Okay, now you're wondering if I'm okay, stable in the room here.
I really, really love it. I think of parts therapy because it's just that. It's a part of me that is influencing, and sometimes subconsciously influencing everything. And when you can just see it, but also I think that the most important thing that really resonated with me was the honoring of it. You can't put it away in a box, because the more you resist, the more it's persisting and getting stronger and getting more influential and seeping in there. I've been creating a lot of relationships with those parts, for sure, for a long time. The perfectionist is a big one. I'm sure, like the I'm not good enough to be on stage. Imposter syndrome is probably a huge one. And I think you work a lot with imposter syndrome. My gut's telling me. Is this true?
Everybody has it.
Everyone has imposter syndrome.
Everybody has it except for narcissists, right? So if you don't have imposter syndrome, that's a sign for you to like do some work.
Right.
Like it's a natural proclivity to care about what I'm sharing and connecting with you, to have humility around like honoring you as a person and sharing with you and all of this. And we are all trained by society, family, friends, all of our experiences to show up a certain way. So anytime we're not we're in a new situation or we're doing something new, all of those like fears of, am I good enough? Am I showing up well enough? Will my so-and-so love me? All those things are going to come to the front, right? There's another book, and I apologize, I can't remember the name of it. It's like 5 something rather, but the tool is you imagine the worst part of yourself and you visualize it and you see it there and you see it being realized, and then accept it being seen and accept a relationship with it and start making friends and peace with it. And then you can start moving through life.
I can see it because it's the most downstream worst version of you. And if you work with that, everything else upstream, I mean, it doesn't get worse than that. That can be really helpful for someone internally, especially before they get on stage, right? So the sweaty hands, the throat closes. Sometimes we can forget something, and you're going to say something.
Well, before we get on stage, like getting a lock on what is it you're afraid of people saying, and then offering love to that thing.
Yeah.
But like I led a workshop at the World Economic Forum, and my imposter monster was in full rage mode. Like, I shouldn't be here. These are world dignitary, blah, 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 like, ah. And I had a coach at the time. And while like in the green room with the conference table, I was on the phone with him. And for 10 minutes, I marched around the table as he was asking me questions. Why should your voice be listened to? Why do you have something to say? Why is your message important? Why do you add value? How is your voice important? And, after 10 minutes, I was like, let's do this, right? So the preparation stage, number one, is the physiology. What are you doing to release that? Reframe the rush, box breathing, find some way to ground. Second is minding your mindset. What are you doing to stop that looping? And the easiest way is to get out ahead of it by asking questions that presuppose the positive. Noah St. John has a book called Affirmations, not affirmations, Affirmations. And Affirmations ask the question rather than making the statement. Because affirmations don't work unless you're already in a good mood, right? Like, I'm having the best day ever. Like, no, like it doesn't work, right? But like, how is my day better than other days? Okay, well, I had a good cup of coffee. I actually did have a really good cup of coffee. Like, and it changes the way the brain works. So changing from affirmations or trying to make statements to force the brain to think of a positive to asking questions that force the brain to look for answers that are in the positive are going to get the brain, and then you've got the body. Those two link up before you go on stage, and you can show up in your full resourcefulness.
So there's the physiological stage, which everyone is going to, it's going to be affected by something, right? That always happens.
Yeah, you get a rush of nerves.
There's no one who, unless you're a psychopath, you said.
Well, that's not the physiology. You're going to have a response, but yeah, go on.
Right. So you have the response, work through the response. We have the parts work, as you mentioned. You can do the monkey arms. You can do the box breathing. You need to move the energy, your feet, grounding. And then there's the mental aspect. So you're working from all the planes. The mental plane is really what you're talking about now, is really like solidifying, validifying. What is my voice? Why am I here? Why am I important? And really kind of sort of
how do I add
up.
value? Yeah.
How do I add value? So really getting in that mindset to get on stage.
Yeah.
What about when we're on stage? Like, how do we? Is there a check-in? Like, okay, I'm ready to flow now. I'm ready to go. Is there anything on stage like pointers? Like, how are we going to stay on topic? How are we going to make sure? Okay, that person looking at me. Let me check in. Oh yeah, I know.
Not about me.
It's not about me. So on stage, not about me.
Anytime when I'm on stage in the flow and I find a hiccup, a trigger, a friction point, my knee-jerk response is not about me. Whatever's happening is not about me. This is not the moment for me to be worried about me. This is a moment for me to be focused on my message, focused on the audience, and bringing them together. You're always going to have somebody in the audience that's giving you sour face. Like, always. I gave this presentation. I won't mention the company, but this woman, a scientist, was staring at me with the most skeptical, angry. I was like, she's not liking my data. She's not liking where this is going. Like, I was terrified, right? And it was like, and the thing was over, and she came up to me and goes, "That was the best presentation."
Oh my God.
And I was like, "Well, honey, you should tell your face." Like, because that was not what you were emoting.
Wow.
Yeah, people. So for a long time, I used to make a joke when I would see the sour face. I'd be like, "Oh, that person has gas."
Okay.
Oh, that person's hungry.
That's it.
Like I would like make up stories about them. But my newest phrase is just not about me. It's not about me. Yeah. Whatever that person is bringing, whatever their phrase, it's not about me. And if they're giving a reaction to my content, great. Let's have a conversation. That's what I'm here for. I want to connect you with this information. So tell me what's going on.
Yeah, I've been on. I've checked it. It's kind of interesting. You could see sort of the first few rows, and for some reason, your eyes always goes to the person that like is doing that face, or like the person who's texting. You're like, am I boring? You know, you just. I don't. It's funny.
Negativity bias.
It's the negative. Yeah, you're not seeing the person who's like, oh yeah, absolutely. You know, they're really resonating.
You put one of these podcasts up and you get 100 amazing, and then one negative. That one negative, like
your podcast
for 3 days, you're like,
it's the ego, right? Alive and protecting.
It's protecting. It's
So the not about me is really such a potent way to remind yourself, and you're not saying like 3 sentences in the middle of your presentation. It's just da 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 da, not about me, da 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 da, and keep going. So you're staying grounded. Do you do anything when you're on stage, like, okay, my feet are on the ground, just checking in, like my body's here, I'm not getting lost? Do you do anything where you're grounding yourself at all?
Yes. And again, this is going to be different for everybody.
Yeah.
So what works for me is not going to work for everybody. I'll actually use I had a client was pitching at Y Combinator, which is where startups, they pitch to get funded. Ended up getting 2 million, lots of partners, did really well. But he could not control the hand. Yeah. And so we had a hand in the pocket, and then at the next talking point, he switched the hand to the other pocket, and he switched the hand. And it was a little robotic, but it mitigated this overwhelm. So he started doing this. And as we kept working, we kept using the movement as checkpoints in his body. And so it went from the pocket to just a touch on the hip.
Okay.
And then it went from a touch on the hip to a touch of the index and the thumb together. And so he built his way up to loosen that physiological response to the anxiety, to like start controlling his being mindful of his body. I over gesticulate. That's my nature. I'm not a mime, but I want to I want to demonstrate everything. So I have to mindfully tell myself to ground my feet and keep my hands to my sides. Make one clear gesture and then let it stay at that. And then move to the next gesture. Because too many gestures is the same as monotone. You start, one of my favorite YouTubers, it's All Good News. He gives all good news from the day, but the whole time he's talking. So the good news for the day isn't that I can't listen, I can't watch.
Wow, because of the hands.
Because the hands become like so distracting. I can't listen to him. I'm like, what are you waving at?
Wow.
I should give him that feedback rather than doing it here.
Yeah. Well, you write the comment, right? You write the comment. Man, maybe his bias will find it.
Yeah, maybe.
So
that might be a DM though.
Right. So you're saying when someone's on stage, because there's a lot of people who do this, they're going da da da, they're talking with their hands, but not like crazy, but they're just like, one time this cat jumped over the moon, and when they jumped over the moon, it really was something. That's too much when they're motioning their hands nonstop.
Nonstop motion is going to read the same as monotone. It's going to
do. You meaning that when people view that, even if your voice is inflecting, they'll see your hands and know it's monotone.
It's monotone. You'll hear the voice inflecting, and you'll start to understand. So the voice is what gives meaning to your words, right? You could read something in a text or an email, but you can read it a million different ways. When you vocalize it, then you get the meaning. And we won't do the games, but there's improv games to show you how you can say the same sentence 10 different ways and get, right? The hands provide emphasis. Gestures provide emphasis. Movement can provide emphasis. And when those emphasis is just a slurry, then it starts to dilute the entire message.
I see. So it's all connected.
Yeah. Intentionality about the multi-channel communicator that we are is the goal. And when I work with clients, I usually work on whatever's going to bring the biggest change. We're going to start with, okay, you're swaying, or we're going to start with, let's use one gesture, or from there. There's other people that don't gesture at all. And in a virtual world, it becomes even more important. We got a postage stamp of ourselves on there. That's all you get is this little box. But people still need to see the full breadth of you. So you need to bring your hands into the screen. People love to see your hands. It tells the mind physiologically that I don't have a weapon. I'm not going to hurt you or me.
Crazy, right?
It's crazy, but if I just show you the palms of my hands, part of your brain just calmed down and you're more receptive to listening to me. So if I want my message virtually to be better understood, I need to make sure that I bring my hand into the screen. And I need to move in the screen. And I need to use gestures in the screen to give emphasis and meaning to what I'm saying.
I'm going to keep that in mind when I'm on virtuals now. Yeah, that's really important. Some of the best speakers, they have some qualities. To you, what are some of those top qualities that you see in some of the top speakers on stage?
Two things I would offer. One, people that offer a vocal variety. The brain craves novelty, right? If we are listening to the same thing for too long, we just naturally tune out. You know, TED Talks are designed to have beats. TV shows, movies have beats, 3 to 4 minutes. In a live conversation, it should be at least once every 8 minutes. There's a pattern disruption. In virtual, you have 3 to 5 minutes before you need that pattern disruption. But the voice and a pause can be a powerful novelty pattern disruption to help reset and refocus the audience so that they look up to be like, oh, what's coming next, or whatever it is. So voice is number one. Number two, my favorite public speakers are those who can use metaphors. Metaphors move minds. You can give me all the data you want, but if you can't link it and make it visual, I'm not going to remember it. It's the difference between me handing you a blueprint and telling you this is your future house, 2 doors with the ocean view.
Different.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. The metaphors.
Metaphors move minds. And that is a game changer in my arena because data folk tend to speak in data. And when a data is talking to data, if tech leader is talking to tech leader, they are zeros and ones. And they are understanding it. They're on jargon. They're skipping ahead. Nobody else can understand it. But when they switch and talk to sales, marketing, the customer, whoever it is,
that's right,
you can't do that. So they have to translate that data into something they can work with. So find a metaphor and stick with it. One of my clients was, at the time she was manager, worked her way up now, and she's executive in the technology of the company. She started using her Prius as her metaphor. Oh, you're trying to put gas in my Prius. Oh, it started to click. She started to get heard in meetings. With that Prius example, the metaphor became her brand, how she started explaining the complicated terms and data that she was working with in non-data language. People understood it. People started using the Prius analogy.
Yeah.
And then soon, I mean, this is why she raised in her career, because she became a trailblazer. People understood her. People understand her work.
Wow.
Because of the Prius.
Yeah, because most people wouldn't have understood her work without that analogy.
Right. You just give me all this data. Okay, fine. What do you want me to do with it, right?
Oh, I know. It's a brilliant analogy. And I think I'm particularly sensitive to this when speakers is when they stay monotone, they miss beats, I tune out fast. And I was just talking to my friend saying it's very difficult for me to sit down and hear someone talk for a long time. And now I'm realizing most people aren't using those metaphors that kind of make it stick. It's all just sort of either conceptual in the air or data driven. And I'm like, well, how does this apply to like stimulate my artistic mind and my visual? Because I'm very visual. That's why I love like PowerPoints. I love movie storytelling, you know?
Exactly.
So like, how can I'm starting to see the big picture now that you're drawing here. Is like, we can use our metaphors. We can use our visualizations to even make data-driven concepts land better.
100%.
Oh, Lord.
100%. I feel like challenging you right now.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah. Amazing stuff. This is, yeah, I feel like I became a better speaker just listening to this.
Oh, no, please.
You know?
No, keep going. I like this.
You know, my hand won't be going all over the place now. And
everybody has emphasis. Their own, yeah.
Well, I'm a New Yorker, so now I start going a little kooky with my hands, and I'm just going to calm it down and then emphasize when I need to. It seems like since you were a kid, this led you to this. Do you feel you're in your purpose with this work?
Oh, yeah. I mean, for me, my mission is to help those who don't feel they have a seat at the table or a voice in the room own their voice, share their voice, get their message out there. There is no more important time than right now to share your voice out there. It is important. It has value. Your individual expression is important, and we all want to hear it. So whatever I can do to empower those people to use their voice, to feel comfortable using their voice, I'm going to do it.
You think everyone has something important to say?
Everyone has something important to say, but they might not have found it yet. A mentor once told me that everybody needs to be heard. Not everybody needs to be heard by everybody. But at some point in everybody's life, what you have to say does need to be heard by everybody. So keep working on it, keep refining it, keep workshopping it, and yeah, get to that point.
I love that. That's when the soul is really aligned. You're aligned with some deep purpose, man. And for you, you found your purpose. And that's really what I, more than anything for my viewers and listeners, I just want them to tune into that purpose. Like, makes the world a better place, man. And it seems to me you're making the world a much better place, helping people find their power, man, their voice. And we talked about how important that is. Where can people work with you? Where can people find you or any more of your work?
My book, Clear and Compelling, will be out soon, available on Amazon. And you can go to clearandcompellingplaybook.com and you can sign up for the launch or pre-order when you get that. That's the easiest way. You can also find me on LinkedIn.
What's the book going to be about?
Clear and Compelling. It's communication strategies for big thinkers with bold ideas.
Oh, heck yeah. All right. That's perfect for anyone who wants to get on stage. Big thinkers, bold ideas. And we can find you on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for your work, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate your, you really, really are aligned, I can tell. And you're bringing so much value to people who need you, who've been struggling for so long. And it's like, I know there've been moments on stage where people are like, oh my God, I get it. Thank you. Oh my God, I feel so good. Now I feel my power. And that's really that's sacred work, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.